Bill Hagerty, are Republicans playing politics? How do you even respond to that? I mean, if I call you a name, I say I regret that. I'm apologizing.
It certainly seems that way to me.
What exactly is happening here?
It's amazing that they're talking about playing politics when all this administration is doing is playing politics and reaching for political power. That's why we have this influx of illegal migrants coming into the country. It's about political power at the end of the day. And we almost shut down Congress Friday night. Chuck Schumer threatened to do that to me when I forced every Democrat to go on the record and vote that they want to count illegal immigrants in the allocation of congressional districts and electoral votes. That's what this is about. The motive for the crime at our border is power. It's their ability to count illegal immigrants so that they can use their sanctuary cities and blue states to get more power than they otherwise would get. And what happened here is politics, and that's the reason Laken is dead now.
I mean, I go dig through what we heard from voters in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, in all these primaries where American voters are screaming that immigration is their top concern. They see it as the top concern facing the country today. Yet here's where Biden still stands. This was earlier today, calling for action on the border bill. Listen.
This bill would save lives, bring order to the border. Folks, we have to end the games. Tell your members in Congress to show up, show a little spine, and pass the bipartisan border security bill.
For voters who hear this president say this is how to fix the problem, they're not buying it. This is the latest Fox News polling on the administration's handling of making this country safer, okay? Those that believe he and his administration have mostly failed, 63%, just 32% believe they mostly succeeded. They directly tie this to concerns about crime.
Certainly.
Rightly so.
No, absolutely they should. You heard the conversation about this Venezuelan that committed this murder of Laken Riley, allegedly committed the murder of Laken Riley. But if you think about it, when President Trump was in office, he essentially delivered the most secure border that we've seen as a nation. He had sanctioned Maduro and the Venezuelan regime. We don't have information on these Venezuelans that come in. When I was just down at the border 2.5 weeks ago, they told me that if they have no information, the presumption is the Biden administration will let them in, they'll invite them in. This same person that's accused of the murder of Laken committed crimes here in New York, released by a woke prosecutor with no bail. You see what happens? He moves to Georgia and commits the most heinous of crimes. My heart goes out to Laken's family. President Trump thankfully met with her. He showed some grace. Joe Biden is only kowtowing to the illegals and apologizing to them. It's shocking.
We just played out that sound of Christopher Wray, and to use the word shocking as well, that moment when he confessed on Capitol Hill. What a growing concern this is from a security standpoint as a national security issue in this country. Christopher Wray, we know that hearing is about to happen on the Hill, you know, 1/2 the hour, I think we expect. Do you think we might hear more concerns?
I certainly hope so, because the concern is real across America, and my colleagues in the Congress will be asking about this. Just in the past year, Sandro, we've had 170 different nationalities apprehended at the southern border. I was just there a few weeks ago, as I mentioned. The farmer I was talking to, the rancher there, said he found 15 Syrians on his property, all adult males. Why didn't they submit themselves to asylum? They didn't. They're there for another reason. It's frightening what's happening here.
I just want to highlight President Biden is speaking in New Hampshire right now. I believe he's addressing the economy, which somehow has fallen to number 2 for most Americans as their top concerns, as immigration has taken that number 1 spot we have seen in so many polls. Meanwhile, this has just dropped from Gallup. This is just in. A majority of Americans now say the large numbers of immigrants entering the United States illegally is a critical threat to U.S. vital interests. Okay, 55%. That is a record high, Senator, according to Gallup. Is this an administration that shows it's taking this seriously? And obviously it's an election year where this has grown to a massive political headache for the president and his campaign.
Certainly they're not taking it seriously. But again, getting back to what happened Friday night when Chuck Schumer almost shut down the Senate, you got to get to the motive of this crime. What they're trying to do is backfill these states that are losing population. You think about it, New York, Illinois, California. People are leaving in droves. They're coming to home states like mine in Tennessee, to Florida. What's happening? They situate sanctuary cities right here in New York, in Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco. These act as magnets to attract these illegal migrants. And then they want to count these illegal migrants for the purposes of allocating congressional districts and electoral votes. We caught the Congresswoman here in Brooklyn on air saying that she needs these illegal migrants for redistricting purposes. She doesn't want to lose her congressional district. This is about power at the end of the day. And they want to use illegal migrants to gain more political power at the expense of states like mine that don't have so many illegal migrants. They're taking away our voting power.
Just real quick, final thought on that. I mean, what does that look like, you know, as that continues to happen and you have them finding that they're safe and, you know, gathering in mass in some of these cities with nobody searching for them and nobody hunting them down and nobody returning them? How much are we at risk as a result?
Well, I think Lake and Riley proves it. Yeah. New York City is where this person illegally enters the country, this Venezuelan criminal illegally enters the country in 2022, commits a crime here in New York against a child in 2023, is immediately let go without bail, and then runs to Georgia, flees there. We saw Venezuelan gangsters beat up New York police officers here, and they then flee to California. No one's cooperating. This is what happens when you have sanctuary cities.
A minor sexually assaulted in Virginia as well. It was mocked in the mainstream media.
It's so sad.
Senator, appreciate your time today.
Thank you
so
Thanks
much.
For having me.
All right.